Peace, love, liberty, radio.
And the walls come crashing down as the war at home reaches your town. You have no choice, it's safe and clean. We all submit to the war machine.
So every now and then, I will see a headline and scratch my head and realize that I have to read the article because something isn't right. And what am I talking about here? No, I'm not talking about these weird clickbait sort of things. And you know the formula. Blank happened, and then you'll never guess what happened next. Or, man did blank. What happened next will amaze you. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is an article that, well, I'll just jump into it. It involves a football player and an injury and a lawsuit. And when I read the headline says, Reggie Bush, well, let me actually scroll up on the page to actually read you the headline instead of what I remembered the headline as being. Reggie Bush will reportedly sue the city of St. Louis over concrete at Rams Stadium. This is not the first headline that I saw. The first headline that I saw was from another website that said, Reggie Bush will sue the city of St. Louis over season-ending injury. And my thought was, wait a second, I've never heard of a football player suing the other team because he got hurt. Well, the headline here from SB Nation, which is the article that I'm going to read, their headline is a little more descriptive and tells you a little bit more about why he's suing, and it's over a patch of concrete at the St. Louis Rams Stadium. Now, why am I talking about this? Because I'm not a sports podcast, but I personally am a sports fan. Not so much NFL, but I do enjoy watching college football, and I enjoy watching pro wrestling, and I enjoy watching UFC. And every now and then I'll watch, like track and field if it's on. Like if I'm at the gym and I flip the TV on so that there's something that I can see while I'm on the recumbent bike. That's the one where you're sort of sitting behind the pedals in more a reclined sort of position. That's called a recumbent bike. So while I'm on that for about 20, 30 minutes, I'll want something to look at other than the screen showing me going around the track. So I'll turn on one of the TVs at the gym. And I'll put it on a sports thing because, that's something you don't have to worry about hearing to be able to know what's going on. So I'll watch, various athletic sort of stuff while I'm at the gym working out. So I'll watch professional football occasionally. Like I'm not a big NFL fan. I couldn't necessarily tell you the records of any of the football teams, although I do know that the Carolina Panthers happen to be undefeated right now, which is amazing if you know anything about the history of the Carolina Panthers. But I digress, and I go back to talking about this specific article. So I've known of players getting injured before, but I've never heard about players suing the other team, and that's what I thought this was based on sort of the I guess in a way it is sort of a clickbait article headline that I saw saying that he's suing the other team because he got injured. Well, what actually happened is there's apparently a patch of concrete near the playing field, and he slipped on that a couple of weeks ago and is now out for the rest of the season. The article, again, this comes from SBNation.com. It says San Francisco 49ers running back Reggie Bush plans on suing the city of St. Louis over the concrete surrounding the field at the Edward Jones Dome, the home of the St. Louis Rams, according to Joshua La Canfora of CBS Sports. Bush sustained a season-ending MCL, that's one of the ligaments in the knee, season-ending MCL tear after falling on the concrete near the outer wall, and his future with the NFL is in doubt because Reggie Bush, not exactly a young guy. Reggie Bush has retained the services of an attorney, Sean Hawley, who works with the KWIKA firm. Bush may have a case, especially given the fact that the Rams have since informed the NFL that they want to cover the concrete with something softer following his injury. And apparently a few weeks prior, there was another football player, this player from the Cleveland Browns. It was quarterback Josh McCown, who also slipped on the concrete and then ran into a wall. He injured his shoulder and then left the game later with a shoulder injury. Something interesting here is that the attorney, Sean Hawley, was a member of the O.J. Simpson legal team. It doesn't specify whether it was the legal team that represented O.J. during the murder trial or if it's the legal team that represented O.J. in the case where O.J. sold a bunch of memorabilia and then decided, wait, no, I still want this, and went and broke into some guy's hotel room in Las Vegas and then stole the memorabilia, and then he wound up getting charged with theft for that. So I'm not sure which case Sean Hawley was representing OJ on, but they do mention that and said that Reggie Bush has been her client in the past, according to a report. Bush had signed a one-year agreement with the San Francisco 49ers in the offseason and was the primary backup for running back Carlos Hyde. But Reggie Bush, who is 30 years old and coming off of an injury, says that his future is in doubt. And then it talks about some of the statistics that he's had. But the issue that I want to bring up here is whether or not he actually has a case here. Because on the one hand, this seems sort of like the I slipped and fell on somebody's pee in a Walmart bathroom, now give me a bunch of money sort of lawsuit. But at the same time, this might actually be a legitimate thing because here's the question. Whether or not you as a property owner, assuming that you own property, whether or not you have any responsibility to take precautions to prevent people from being injured when they come to your house or ride in your car. Now, there certainly are things that are beyond your control. Let's just say that you're driving down the street and you've got somebody in the passenger side of your car. There are things beyond your control, such as somebody running a stop sign, somebody running a red light, somebody not paying attention and merging into the lane and like slamming into the side of your car. That is something that is beyond your control. But things that are in your control is how well you drive, whether or not you run red lights, whether or not you run stop signs, whether or not you look where you're going when you merge. And then what about if they come over to your house? Could, if you don't take precautions and somebody slips on your sidewalk, could they sue you? And if so, how is it different than this lawsuit here? There's more. Stay tuned. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap, Spendabit, and Amazon at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. The Doublespeak Dictionary by Leslie Starr O'Hara satirizes the marked difference between the ideal of we the people and the reality of we the elite, while offering an insightful glimpse into the clockworks of the totalitarian mind. Ever irreverent but never irrelevant, the Doublespeak Dictionary serves as a subversive and humorous but timely reminder that the emperor has no clothes. The Doublespeak Dictionary is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry. Online at fppradio.com.
So, changing gears just a little bit from suing a sports... Well, actually, he's not suing the team. He's suing the city, because it is the city of St. Louis, through the Sports Authority, that owns the football stadium. So, changing gears from that to, well, actually the U.S. federal government giving money to various NFL sports teams. The story here comes from Yahoo Sports. And, well, apparently there was a report released by Senators Jeff Flake and John McCain, both from Arizona. And the report details just how much the U.S. Department of Defense has been paying professional sports teams for patriotic moments. You know the ones I'm talking about, or maybe you do if you've ever watched any professional sport at all. You'll see various times they'll come out with the big giant flag that's the size of the field. And there's the F-16s that fly over, and there's the military guys that walk out, and the guy on the PA says, "Please rise as we honor our men and women in the U.S. military." And something along the lines of, like, thank Uncle Sam for a dead soldier sort of thing, because, America. Yeah, that sort of thing. Well, apparently they're not doing that for free, and it's come out exactly how much, not for free, it's costing you. Because that's really what it is. Like, this is costing you and me money. How much money is it costing us for the NFL and the NHL and Major League Baseball and Major League Soccer? Not to mention, and they don't list it in here, but NASCAR. And I mention NASCAR specifically because the National Guard gives a bunch of money to Dale Earnhardt Jr. for a sponsorship on his car, making Dale Earnhardt Jr. the highest paid contractor that does not actually produce any sort of thing for the military. And when I say produce a thing, I'm talking about, like, he's not building something that goes boom, or building something that carries something that goes boom, or building something that carries people to someplace that goes boom. He's just putting an advertisement on a car and driving around making left turns, because that's what happens in NASCAR. You make left turns, unless you're on a road track, and then there's a few right turns, but it's mostly left turns. And every now and then I think they have the one race where they go around the track backwards. Not in reverse, because that would be way cool. But no, they'll just go the opposite way around the track. They go clockwise instead of counterclockwise, so they make right turns instead of lefts. But, like, basically, Dale Earnhardt Jr. drives a car somewhere near 200 miles an hour and make left turns, and he makes millions of dollars doing it. Thank you, U.S. government. So let me now jump back into the article here from Yahoo Sports. The report, again, this report was from Senators John McCain and Jeff Flake. The report indicates that of the 122 contracts with pro teams across the NFL, that's the National Football League, the National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, and Major League Soccer, 72 of the teams, totaling $6.8 million, had some form of quote-unquote paid patriotism. What exactly is paid patriotism, they ask over at Yahoo Sports? Well, according to the report, many activities that seem either spontaneous or done out of the goodness of teams' hearts, like national anthems, full-fielded American flags, and ceremonial first pitches, were bought and paid for by the Department of Defense. A few of the more egregious NFL-related examples of patriotism-based sports marketing cited by the report: the Minnesota Vikings were paid for the opportunity to sponsor a military appreciation night. Yes, you heard that right. The Minnesota Vikings had a military appreciation night, and they were paid to do so. The New York Jets received $20,000 for a Hometown Heroes promotion and were paid to recognize the New Jersey Army National Guard soldiers at their homes, a deal that included Coaches Club access. Coaches Club is one of these things to where you go in and you get like the special sort of VIP treatment. You get a private booth that you can watch the game in, and you get comfy chairs and the whole 9 yards. A lot of times free alcohol, free food, etc. The Atlanta Falcons received Department of Defense monies to honor wounded warriors and have a National Guard member sing the national anthem. And the article continues with a quote from John McCain: Americans across the country should be deeply disappointed that many of the ceremonies honoring troops at professional sports events are not actually being conducted out of a sense of patriotism, but for profit in the form of millions in taxpayer dollars going from the Department of Defense to wealthy pro sports franchises. That statement from McCain was in an announcement announcing the release of the report. He added fans should have confidence that their hometown heroes are being honored because of their honorable military service, not as a marketing ploy. Now, on the other hand, I'm disappointed and upset that taxpayer dollars are being used to fund this at all, in addition to the phony patriotism. Because really the whole phony patriotism thing, and whether it's phony or not phony, it's still this whole rah, let's go military, let's go, our murder machines are better than your murder machines, yay, murder. That's what I'm upset about, is that this whole thing, what is being called patriotism, is nothing more than celebrations of murder. And most people will refute that and dispute that and say it's not celebrations of murder. We're honoring the people that were died for your freedom to say that. Okay, so let's break down what your rebuttal to my statement is. You're saying that, yes, I have the right to say this is a celebration of murder, even though you disagree. Okay, but you're saying that I have the right. Oh, but you're saying I only have the right to say this is a celebration of murder because somebody died. Now, what you're saying is that I only have rights because there's been a blood sacrifice. In which case, it makes my statement that this is nothing more than a celebration of murder even more accurate, because you're the one alleging that I only have rights because of blood sacrifice, which is murder. It's murder. When you have to kill somebody to get a thing in return, you're murdering them, and they are acting as a blood sacrifice. Now, if you're just killing them to kill them, that's still murder. It doesn't matter whether or not you believe my rights come from dead people or not. So the whole rah, yay, America, let's go murder people because our murder people are better than your murder people, that is abhorrent to me. It's even more abhorrent that I'm being forced to pay for it. Stay tuned.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerary supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
Hey, this is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've been working with computer programmer Derek Slopey to create Fiend Phone. I'm using Fiend Phone right now to talk with and record one of my co-hosts in real time. Take it, Davi.
Hey, this is Davi Barker, and I'm 1,000 miles away from Michael, but we sound like we're in the same room.
We sure do, Davi. So, Davi, please tell the nice people more about Fiend Phone.
Fiend Phone is free, open-source software that opens up a global world of possibilities for collaborative, high-quality remote voice media production, and I'm digging it.
People can try the Windows beta version of Fiend Phone right now at fiendphone.com. But we're also raising money to vastly improve Fiend Phone and vastly improve independent talk media worldwide.
So go to fiendphone.com to help out. Who will build the audio roads? We will, with your help.
That's fiendphone.com. FEENPHONE.com. Foxtrot, Echo, Echo, November, phone.com.
Fiend Phone. I never knew remote audio could be this good.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Now, I'm going to actually completely change gears here in the final segment. But before I get into the final news story that I want to get into, I want to make sure that I tell you about a way that you can keep your money, your free market money, in the free economy. That is, if you use free market money, you do use Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is an alternative to the fiat-centric currencies that we use. If you support the free market and free market money, you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal. Spend-A-Bit is the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants, including Overstock.com and Free Press publications. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend-A-Bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin-accepting merchant like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.fppradio.com. That's spendabit.fppradio.com. So I said I'm going to change gears, and I'm completely changing gears. No paid patriotism. No more sports talk for the rest of this show. What I do want to talk about is about some people who, well, about 122 years ago, had their rights to self-determination removed from them, but they might possibly maybe be working on getting that back. Exactly what am I talking about, you may be asking? Well, the story comes from Al Jazeera America, and it's about the native peoples of Hawaii. In 1893, the article begins, Queen Liliuokalani, the last monarch of Hawaii, yielded power to a group of businessmen backed by the U.S. Marines in order to avoid the bloodshed of her people. She did so believing that the U.S. government, when presented with the facts, would eventually restore the Hawaiian kingdom. Instead, the coup led to the dissolution of the Hawaiian sovereignty and the tropical archipelago's eventual admission to statehood. Now, more than a century after the overthrow, a historic election seeks to return sovereignty to Native Hawaiians, a people still stinging from the bitter ruin of colonization when Hawaiians had their land stolen, their hula outlawed, and their language purged from schools. Yeah, that's something they don't teach you in American government school. about what happened after Hawaii was set up with the Republic of Hawaii and then annexed as the territory of Hawaii and then later admitted as a state to the United States of America. They don't tell you that the Hawaiian culture was practically outlawed until like the 1960s. They don't tell you that the people that lived in Hawaii had their land stolen from them. They don't tell you that when the statehood vote happened in the late 1950s, that people who claimed allegiance or loyalty to the Hawaiian kingdom were not allowed to vote. They don't tell you that the U.S. military servicemen and women and the families of the U.S. military members were allowed to vote for statehood. So it would be akin to setting up some sort of vote in Iraq today and saying anybody who ever voted for Saddam Hussein cannot vote in this election, but anybody else that's been here for 1 year gets to vote. Well, the people that had been in Hawaii for 1 year and did not claim loyalty or pledge allegiance or pledge loyalty to the Kingdom of Hawaii, the people that were able to vote, it was mostly Americans that had moved to Hawaii, people that were in Hawaii because of the military, the spouses of people there because of military, and the few natives that did not claim loyalty to the kingdom. Even though, yes, the statehood vote happened 60 some odd years after the Hawaiian kingdom was overthrown, but there were still people that claimed allegiance and loyalty to the kingdom. And even to this day, there are people, and that's what this article is about, and I'll jump into it in just a moment. But you had these people that did not have the best interest of the natives in mind when they were voting. It was people that had the interest of the U.S. government in mind when they voted overwhelmingly for statehood. And it should be noted that independence was not an option. The options were, do you want to become a state or remain a territory? Independence was never an option for the peoples of Hawaii. However, there is a group hoping to change that. On November 1st, a 30-day voting period began with more than 100,000 Hawaiians certified the state-sanctioned Native Hawaiian Roll Commission, who will elect delegates who will report, or rather, who will represent them in Honolulu this winter at an 8-week constitutional convention for self-governance. More than 200 Hawaiians on the mainland and across the islands are campaigning for 40 seats at the planned assembly, where the paramount task will be to draft a document that guides the creation of a government by and for Native Hawaiians. Native Hawaiians, by the way, are the only indigenous group in the United States without their own political structure. Now, what exactly does that mean? Because most people, what they will rightly think, well, the Native Americans, they aren't independent. They don't have their own countries. True, but they do have these sort of semi-autonomous things. The reservations, if you will, are semi-autonomous. So they have their own councils. They have their own legal status as some sort of special, sort of enclave government within the U.S. government. So they have a political structure, not to the full extent that I would like to see them have, and not to the full extent that some of the Native Americans would like to see. But they do have a political structure. In Hawaii, the Native Hawaiians do not have any kind of special recognition. There is no semi-autonomous, Hawaiian People's Reservation or whatever it is you want to set up. And I don't like the concept of reservations because I support fully the whole idea of polycentric society, polycentric civilization, The election results for this election will be announced December 1st, and I will make sure that I cover this. And make sure that you tune in on Wednesday, episode 250, and I've got a huge announcement coming for you. And it's also Ask Me Anything. Send those questions, AMA at FPPradio.com.